move you up if we can't see you?
That's perfectly fine.
Me too.
Can you see him now?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Can you see me now?
Yes. We need to
Thank you, he sits up straight.
Sit up straight.
So like my mom.
Right. Now you're in trouble.
Sit up straight.
Anyway, when they get close session, I just.
No rest for I appreciate it. You'll appreciate this, Brad. We have a.
Feel free to reach out. You got a number.
Okay. So lady got control of her screen. She's been. Six and a half years of data was deleted.
Gone. Oh, no.
Wow. 196.
Stop listening on Saturday.
Wow.
We
No
see one
backup.
yesterday.
Well, we have.
You got back up.
We have.
Nice. Good. Good test for that.
I don't know, there's a streak we got.
So I did, Rob Shelton, I just uploaded it exactly that. So
Okay.
that they can try to restore it.
Wow. Still, your heart sinks when that happens.
I don't think I should have done it.
No, probably not. We kind of thought you were the expert. Right?
Oh.
Wow.
Well, and she goes, "Well, when do they think you fix it? It's the booth the rest of this." And I go, "I don't think it's really not." Let me talk to the guy.
Before we do anything else.
I bet.
Oh,
Yeah, we're busy.
wow.
Pretty crazy. But like, we worked the Chiefs opening night and there were 16,000. The fans there, but it holds like 70, 75. It was like they wanted us to work it. So we did. I don't know.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sure.
Steve Bone,
Yes.
James Byers, Robin Fosterman,
Yes.
Brad Waldoff,
Yes.
Jill Winley,
Yes.
Jane Willenberg,
Yes.
Kathleen Smith, yes.
Sorry, go ahead, Mr. Fox.
Okay. We went over the tentative budget last month. There were a few changes between this budget and that, primarily because the tax computation reports came in and the district's going to receive a little more money than what we had anticipated when we did the tax levy last year. So when you go through those, really looking at the four operating funds, because those are the ones we have the most control over. The education fund is looking at a projected deficit of $590,956. We project if we spend everything we've allotted to spend and receive all the revenues that we think we'll receive, we will end with a fund balance in the education fund of $8,894,086 on June 30th. In the O&M fund, Fund 20, we are projecting an increase of $17,261. Again, if we receive all revenues, spend everything we have budgeted, then we should end with a projected fund balance of $2,217,295 on June 30th in the O&M fund. Transportation, Fund 40, we are projecting an increase of $139,714 with an expected fund balance of $2,286,000 $983,125. And with working cash, we are projecting a deficit of $708,906. If you remember, we talked about doing the one-time transfer of the $975,000 to cover the purchase of technology and to cover the additional expenses of the site work at the junior high. So we have built into each of those contingency funds for items that come up that we don't expect, the loss of a boiler, the wreck of a vehicle, things along those lines. We've also budgeted in to new textbooks, new student management program, additional technology, lots of technology, okay? Lots of things along those lines. Our other funds, bond and interest, Fund 30, we're projecting an increase of $60,707 with a final fund balance of $220,402. Fund 50, the Municipal Retirement Fund, we're projecting a planned deficit of $85,752. Last year when we did the tax levy, we planned to spend down some of those funds. What we will still project ending with a balance of $1,302,139 in the Fund 50. Fund 80, the tort fund, we are projecting an increase of $2,654 in that fund with an ending fund balance of $492,578. And the HLS fund, projecting a deficit of $6,015,656, closing out the junior high HLS project this year. We expect our fund balance to end at $152,471. Is there any questions I can answer on the budget as it's proposed right now? That's good.
No, I think, we've, shared the information. I think, we don't know what's gonna happen, just FYI. Obviously, there's a tax vote in November in regards to that, and I don't know if you've heard that the governor's come out and said that budgets would be pretty tight if that doesn't pass. Take that for what it's worth, but that's, we do expect that to occur. If it doesn't, but I think the district's in sound financial shape to move forward at this point, so.
Closing the comments. Do we need a motion and a second to adjourn the budget hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Angie Byers. Robin Klosterman.
Yes.
Brad Waldoff.
Yes.
Jill Winling.
Yes.
Jane Willenberg.
Yes.
Kathleen Smith, yes. Steve Bone.
Yes.
We'll go ahead and call our regular board meeting to order.
Robin Klosterman.
Yes.
Brad Waldoff.
Yes.
Jill Winling.
Yes.
Jane Willenberg.
Yes.
Kathleen Smith, yes. Steve Bone.
Yes.
Angie Byers.
Yes. We didn't have any visitors that wish to address the board, but we do want to recognize Andrew Adams from the Effingham Daily News, so thank you for joining us. Go ahead and move on to the financial report from Mr. Fox.
Okay. The August-September financial reports, we ended last month with fund balances. The net fund balance was $20,444,310.01. The operating funds made up $15,346,310.52 of that. And the HLS fund made up $3,359,139.79. We received in the education fund revenues locally, $81,654.97. From state, we received $583,009.57. And from the federal government, we received $8,596.49. All expenses over $5,000 are listed out separately. With the new board book, it doesn't put page numbers on there, so that makes it a little hard for me. But our recommendations this month are to reimburse the interest account in the amount of $1,822.85, and the payment of bills in the amount of $1,347,430.44. Of that, the junior high HLS project made up $696.81. And if you looked at the interest account this month, most of that reimbursement were field trips that were scheduled for the spring. At Southside, where we reimbursed the parents $3 or $8 if they were also chaperoning. So we reimbursed all those students this past month.
Any questions for Mr. Walker on the financials?
I had a couple things.
Mhm.
Just one, and this is more of a request than anything. You know, we had talked at one time about having a cafeteria report, which I know is coming soon, but instead of just showing the number of meals and income, could we also have the expenses? You know, we could go through and add all the, we can see on your financial report what those are, but they're all separate and not, you know, I think it would be to give us a better whole picture.
Okay.
I think we talked about maybe that as a possibility, and then all of a sudden, things went crazy with
Sure.
COVID. So, you know, that kind of went by the wayside. But I think that would be really nice so we could see the full picture of
Okay.
not only income, but expenses, and just to see it all.
I will see what we can put together and then
Okay.
try to get it out to you, and then you can give me feedback on if you want more or less, or
Okay.
change something. So,
The other thing I wondered about was, I noticed there didn't seem to be as much mileage on there. Did we have a new plan for the mail pickup going on, or?
well, in August, we only pay what gets turned in, so I don't know if we didn't get them all turned
Okay,
in.
I didn't know if you had started something different.
We have
than
not
we've done.
changed anything as of right now.
Okay,
We kind of talked about it at a board meeting and talked about it, if
Right.
there was any thoughts on how to change it, but
Right.
we have not changed anything at the moment.
okay. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Now we need a motion to reimburse the interest account in the amount of $1,822.85, and the payment of bills in the amount of $1,347,430.44.
That motion?
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Brad Waldorf,
Yes.
Jill Henley,
Yes.
Jane Willenberg.
Yes.
Kathleen Smith, yes. Steve Bone.
Yes.
Angie Byers, Robin Foster.
Yes.
Moving on to our consent agenda, we have minutes from a financial meeting on August 12th. We had a special board meeting on August 20th, a regular board meeting on August 17th, and a special meeting on September 15th. Those start on page 133. Cafeteria report is listed on 153. We had a student teachers and fundraisers and field trips. On page 154, it's an annual list of our meetings and activity accounts that were also enclosed. And from page 156 to 225 was the approval post for the public review of the policy updates and changes. Were there any questions on the consent agenda? We just need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
Jill Henley,
Yes.
Jane Willenberg. Yes. Kathleen Smith, yes. Steve Bone.
Yes.
Angie Byers. Yes. Robin Foster.
Yes.
Brad Waldorf.
Yes.
Any correspondence? We're going to move on to superintendent report.
Okay, got a couple things to add here at the end, so, you want. Unit 40 Foundation report, that report is in your packet. I think a couple things on there. I think at this point on grants will move forward. We're gonna kind of discuss that a little further, because fundraising didn't really occur last spring. Also breakfast with Santa. I know we're all on the edge of our seat, talking about Christmas, but, I'm sure that was discussed, and whether that can move forward or not, I think it's still up in the air. Don't know for sure on that. And then the final thing, Harlem Wizards, the main fundraiser, which was supposed to be last year, got moved to this fall, and then it's getting moved, and I think the date is set at this point for April 24th, which I believe is a Saturday. And hopefully they can move forward with that. That would be a good money maker for them. I don't know if there's any other questions or comments in regards to that. We appreciate their help and support. FOIA request, we did get a request from Smart Procure. This is usually a yearly request. It's a commercial request, and they ask for all purchasing records. This one was from 10/29/19 last October to the current, includes PO numbers, purchase date, line item details, quantity, price, and vendor information. I don't really know what that costs us to put that together. It takes a long time. So, I mean, we're talking hundreds, if not close to $1,000 in time of putting that together. So just making you aware of that. We need all the requirements for FOIA every month. The district did receive a donation from Woodman Life Insurance for $500. Funds will be provided in a title funded building in the district, and that would be either ULC, Southside, or Central. So we want to say thank you to Woodman Life Insurance. That will help support our kids at our school district. So thank you very much. Other funds, Kerner Sports Spectacular. The district participated in that every year. This was the 27th year, I believe. And check was written a little different. At times, tee off, but in one day, both the Effingham Sports Backers and the St. Anthony Booster Club received checks for $45,000 each. And so I will just tell you that doesn't happen. That is odd, but over 27 years, that's over $1.1 million has been donated. So we just want to say thank you to the Kerner family, the sponsors, those the planning group, and all those who participated over the years. It's unbelievable outcome. I want a special shout out to Dave Wolfman for his help with the outing as well. So good thing for our district and our kids. Just as a reminder to the public and to the board as well, school board election, nominating papers, September 22nd can be put out, circulated. The district will have 3 seats up in April. First day was, like I said, September 22nd. Effingham County Clerk's Office is the one that handles that, not the school district. In the past couple of years, it moved over, but it used to be the school district did that, and now it goes to the county clerk. So anyone interested needs to go to the county clerk's office, and again, the district will have 3 seats. Those are due in December, I believe. Enrollments enclosed were down about 130 kids from last year in September. I shared some additional information with the board this past week in regards to just feedback from the buildings. We have a number that are homeschooled and also have left, here and there, go to other districts and moved out of state. We have, I do not know, we usually do in October, November. Everything's a little behind, but we start late. We do a county-wide enrollment comparison as well. We have for a number of years, so we'll probably have that hopefully by the November, if not early November. Hopefully we get that done. We'll share that. The trend is in our county has been going down. Actually, rural Illinois, and Illinois in general is going down. That's something that, obviously, affect the district. Obviously, we want to try to keep that stable or growing, and moving forward. A couple things to add. I wanted to make sure that the board was aware that in Mr. Father's class, we have a couple high school students that are going to be participating in Ethical Artificial Intelligence in Education Roundtable. This roundtable is being based out of London, England. And so we've got a couple students in Mr. Father's class that are going to be participating. I don't have those names right off the top. They were still trying to figure out who's going to participate. But that'll be happening. So I want to say thank you, Mr. Father, and those students being able to participate and represent Effingham High School. Also, just a shout out to our junior high couple sports teams. Our boys baseball and girls softball both played in regional title championships on Saturday. The boys, because of COVID, IESA is stopping at the regional. The boys did not win the regional, but we're in the regional final. And then the girls, recognition of the Diddy Jasper County 9A, which is extra inning. So I think their only loss was to Jasper County, and they mentioned that. So congratulations to both those groups. And then finally, Mr. Roberts had shared, and it's on the paper today, Dane, Effingham High School student Dane Seiler was commended for student in the 2021 National Merit Scholarship Program. That's a pretty prestigious honor. We wanted to put a shout out to Dane, thank him, and congratulate him and his family for that. It kind of goes to show that kids are successful on and off competition level. So I think that's it.
Go ahead and move on into our new business. We have some invitations to two of our board members as well.
So first of all, we have Steve Bone coming up. Come on.
Come on down.
Steve is from the school districts in the Illinois Association of School Boards, and that's a statewide organization of school boards across the state of Illinois. And in that, there's some professional development opportunities for board members. And Steve has reached a master board member level 1, and he's going to receive a lapel pin. So I want to make sure you got that. And thank you. Thank you for serving. And Jane, if you can come up. Jane represents the district on some area-wide and then also statewide committees, and has been, she and I are sometimes the only ones that get to go to some of the meetings that we have in the spring and the summer, or spring and the fall, but she has been, this is your, how many years? 6 years. 6 years. So she has reached a master board member, a new master board member, and she is getting a certificate and a frame. So we want to say thank you for your service and representing. There's a lot of extra hours that she does for our district and for our kids, and all of these board members do that. We want to make sure that the public saw that and do that. We appreciate the IASB representing and supporting, and we want to say thank you.
They got that orange memo.
Yes, they do. They coordinated well, didn't they? That's impressive.
See my smile.
That's why none of the rest of us can stand up there.
I
right?
know. We didn't get the memo.
That's a way of assuring you.
That's right. You don't wear orange, you don't get in the picture. Nice. Yeah.
We're going to go ahead then and move on to our student management software purchase.
We were notified a couple of years ago that our current student management software would be obsolete at the end of the school year. So last February, we started, well, prior to that, we started a process of interviewing and looking at different student management softwares that are out there with our end goal in mind of having as many processes as we currently have under one roof down the road. if that took a while, it took a while. If we could get it done quickly, we'd get it done quickly. And what we did is we brought in a large panel of stakeholders from around the district, teachers, secretaries, counselors, principals, had them pilot 3 different software companies. And at the end of the day, they picked Infinite Campus as the program that they felt the most comfortable with and that we as a district felt like we could grow with over time. So we have brought to you Infinite Campus for an initial first year implementation price of $75,829. What that'll be is they will host all of our 10 years worth of data that we currently have in iNow will be moved over. And so we'll be able to go back and see that data. We have actually, Brad and I talked this afternoon quite a bit about this as well. And looking at their system, we felt like we want to ask the board to allow us a little bit of a allowance on top of this amount to allow us to have Infinite Campus do the integration for us on some of our other applications. So say the student lunch account where we currently have NutriKids, but move it over into this and integrate it, but have them do it for us. Because looking at the pricing, and Brad pointed this out as a very good point, the pricing to have them do a week's worth of work was a lot cheaper than what we can do a week's worth of work here. And it frees up our tech upstairs to do other things around the district and be hands-on in the field. So what we would like to do is ask the board to approve the first year purchase price of that $75,829, but then also give an allowance to the tech committee to try to figure out all the different apps that we can integrate so we won't have to come back to the board later and ask for additional money. Did I say that okay?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we talked about.
Yeah.
So if we could get an allowance up to, but not to exceed $10,000, I don't think we'll spend near that.
Right.
But then the tech committee can work with the tech guys to say, okay, these are the things we need to integrate. These are the things we want to pay Infinite Campus to go ahead and do for us versus putting it on our plate. Are there any questions about that any of us can answer? I think, Robin, you've been in this conversation with Brad as well, so.
I have a question about the yearly cost estimate
Mhm.
that's written here, the $41,779. Is that a maintenance plan? And that's every year
That's
for
the
the life
cost,
of the software?
as long as we keep it, yes. And we pay something similar to that with iNow. But then with iNow, we don't pay that much, first and foremost. But we also pay for all those other applications on top of it. So when we looked at the other applications, we're going to move into Infinite Campus. Now, we had not scheduled to do it as quickly, but if we can do it quicker, we'll save the money quicker. But those other applications also cost us $2,000, $5,000, $7,000 a year. So that actually will all be added into that as well.
Yeah, and things you get with that, Jill, are going to be your licensing cost, your support cost, your maintenance, your upgrade. All of that's included in that cost annual. So it's fairly standard for what you see of an application, the size and scope of what we're looking at.
For instance, we pay about $12,000 a year just for our online registration applications. That'll go away. That'll go into this application. So right there is $12,000. We don't spend somewhere else that takes that number down.
Excellent.
So, but we have a lot of applications like that.
Yeah, I think you would be amazed just to see a list of all the applications that we have that are separate.
Yes.
That hopefully, I mean, some of them initially are going to be integrated, but hopefully, with this extra tent that we can even get some more in there. And any one of them that we can get in there is going to, cut that price out and then make this price a better price even.
And we're going to walk that fine line with all these implementations that we can do it in a manner where we can train staff to where we don't overload them.
Right.
But we can get as much implemented. And if we have this allowance, we can have Infinite Campus do it as we can develop the trainings too. It's going to be a fine line on what our staff can handle in trainings and what we can get implemented over. So we're going to work through that.
I think initially the focus was just on the core system. Now we can start looking at all these ancillary systems that go along with it. make sure the stakeholders get involved and they like what Infinite Campus has in that arena, because you certainly don't want to trade down on an application either. So if it looks like it can be a good fit, obviously you're going to have huge benefits on data integration and everything working well and talking well together. So there's enormous benefits in that. I think that's the ultimate goal, as Jason said, kind of having everything together in one arena. Will help not only from cost, but integration, support, I mean, you name it.
And one of the things we've talked about quite a bit is the fact that we're not a technology company.
Right.
And right now, we're running so many different applications that it's taking our people just an inordinate amount of time to keep all of that going, let alone get into the classrooms and help the teachers and the students with the issues. So hopefully, we can focus on being a technology-driven school district, but not necessarily a technology company. You know, we're educators.
And that was one of the considerations as we looked at this app. You'll see that this is a cloud-hosted option, where today the installs are done here in-house, right? So we're moving this out to the cloud again, hopefully ease of use, ease of administration. We can lean on CIC, the company that we're purchasing this from, to aid us in support so that we can be out in the classrooms and assisting the teachers and the students with the day-to-day support of this environment. So I think overall it's a better long-term decision for us to move to this cloud type of application. And there was a lot of work that went into it ahead of us even necessarily being involved in selecting this. And I mean, this is a premier student management system. You know, it'll well support a district our size. They quote on their website 330,000 student districts that are using this application. So I think there's some room for us to grow into it as well. So
I do have a question, because it talks about the transportation. So would we be doing away with VersaTrans, or would VersaTrans be a part of it?
VersaTrans will communicate and talk to this program. That's part of our issue now, is when I now stopped being supported about 3 years ago, really, they don't communicate. And so Infinite Campus will talk directly to VersaTrans. So there won't be another transportation software that has to be learned. It'll be VersaTrans communicating within this system. So
We've only had VersaTrans for like 2.
we've had it about 7 years. We've only truly used it the way it was intended for about 2 years. So.
I think one thing to just, process moving forward is to look at each one of these standalone, what I call standalones.
right.
And again, I think somebody mentioned it, evaluate whether it's a better piece of software than what we have at the price cost of what we have. And I think you take each one of these separately, and then, as a committee, and as a district, you look at those and with staff and say, what is our need? Which one meets our need in the most economical manner?
Right.
Because I don't think people understand change. This is huge.
Huge.
Because everybody touches this. I mean, everybody.
Mhm.
Parents, teachers, administrators, everybody. And so it's kind of like trying to change your financial software. It's just, we did that a few years ago, and we're now, and then if you have turnover, then there's issues there too. So, we wanted to bring it early now for implementation and start doing some of that migration and then training hopefully in the spring and summer, get ready for fall. Maybe, I don't know about registration. I think that still has to be determined, but doing it now gives us a little bit more time.
And Angie, just specifically, VersaTrans is one of the integrations that we would build with the bucket of money that Jason was talking about. So.
Were there any other questions? If not, we would do a motion to approve the purchase of student management software at initial cost of $75,829.
I will make that motion.
The allowance and
Put the allowance in there. Thank you.
Was it 10?
10,000.
Yeah, not to exceed.
Not to exceed 10,000.
We need a motion to approve the purchase of student management software at initial cost of $75,829. An additional 10,000, not to exceed 10,000 for
Integration of applications.
applications. for software.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Thank you, Brad. I'll second.
Kathleen Smith, yes. Steve Bone.
Yes.
Angie Byers.
Yes.
Robin Foster.
Yes.
Brad Wall.
Yes.
Jill Windley.
Yes.
Jane Lomberg.
Yes. Technology
So the Technology Committee has talked a lot, obviously, about the one-to-one, movement that we are making and the purchase that we did last month, I guess, or the
Mhm.
month before. But one thing we want to make sure is that our buildings are set up, especially our high school and junior high, are set up for the amount of use that's coming. When we look at the high school, 750 laptops possibly turned on at one time. Most likely not all of them at once, but possibly. We thought it would be in the district's best interest to bring in an outside company to do a site survey to check the Wi-Fi, lack of a better word, power in each classroom. What do you have? What do you need? And part of the parameters we put out there is we don't want them to come in and tell us what we already have. We don't want them to come in and test drive our own car and tell us what our own car can do. We want them to come in and tell us, well, your car says can do 300 horsepower, but you only get 200 horsepower. Here's how you get to 300. We want them to come in and tell us what we can do to make our buildings better. And so those are kind of the parameters we gave the companies when we talked to them. We received quotes back from both Consolidated Communications and Hart Technology. And Hart Technology came in at $8,713.67, which was quite a bit lower than what I think the committee thought we were going to see when we asked for these prices. So we've reviewed that with them. We feel like what we're going to get from them is going to tell us what we need. Now, remember, once we get the information back, then we as a district have to decide what we do with that and how we move forward. But we would like to move forward with the site survey from Hart Technologies in the amount of $8,713.67.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Steve Bone.
Yes.
Angie Byers. Robin Foster.
Yes.
Brad Wall.
Yes.
Jill Windley.
Yes.
Jane Lomberg.
Yes.
Kathleen Smith, yes.
This is a yearly plan that was posted for everybody, the board to look at, not the public. It's also with the local responders. They're aware, I've looked it over as well. So we're asking to approve that this evening.
Need a motion to approve the fiscal year 21 crisis plan.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Angie Byers.
Yes.
Robin Foster.
Yes.
Brad Wall.
Yes.
Jill Windley.
Yes.
Jane Lomberg.
Yes.
Kathleen Smith, yes. Steve Bone.
Yes.
Yeah, just every year we share, it's usually on the October. Remember, the October of last year, the board sets the levy. And we're just now finding out last month exactly what EAD was and how much funds are, so it is an educated guess. So, every year I try to share with the board and the public, just the levy in general, talk about, the enterprise and TIF zone impact, because I think it's important for the board and for the public to understand, and then we'll talk a little bit about tax rates. So, we did receive the tax computation reports from the county, and, obviously, I think everybody got their tax bill. There are too many things, I'll throw some numbers out here, but just in general. Overall EAD in Unit 40 is $544 million. That's equalized assessed valuation. So that's business, commercial, private, farmland, past year, the assessment, went up almost $20 million. However, out of that, not all of that is used for the levy. Only $471 million of it is used for the levy for the school district and any other taxing body. And that's, the reason for that is the difference between the 544 and the 471 is based upon enterprise zones and TIFs, tax increment finance zones. So overall, $12 million in enterprise zone EAD was abated. That reaches to about $413,000 in revenue that the district, did not receive. And then $61 million in EAD for TIF. And there are 4 or 5 TIFs. Understand, TIF 1, the north end is going to end in tax year 22, payable in 23. So in 3 years, we just did 19 payable in 20. So in 3 more years, that amount of EAD will come back onto the tax rolls for tax money. But altogether, that's $73 million that is not, the money either goes to TIF or in the enterprise zone. So that's about $2.5 million in revenue. So the district is not receiving. I don't say that negatively so much as I just want people to know that there's a cost to TIFs and enterprise zones, and it's to the local taxing bodies. And the district has always been a supporter, and I just want people to know, I think the board should know, and our district, our community should know, that the school district supports the growth of the city of Effingham, and will continue to do so. By, we just signed a TIF extension with the city last spring. So over the last 7 years, that's $16.3 million. So just to share. But again, the district knows and happily supports the role that it plays in supporting the growth of the city of Effingham. In regards to tax rates, due to the EAD, the tax rate for Effingham Unit School District, the district's portion, remember the district only is a portion of the $5.50 or so, our tax rate was $3.53 per 100 assessed valuation. So 353. Our tax rate went down 0.027 cents, almost 3 cents. Again, so this is the second year in a row since the district sold $15.5 million in bonds, the tax rate has gone down, and that's significant. I would want, and I shared with the board the other county schools, and I just want to put a shout out there to the public, to our county, so people who live in Effingham County understand every school district in the county had a tax rate of under 4. And I'm trying to get some additional information from other areas, not just as a comparison. And you'll see that Effingham County will have the lowest tax rates, school tax rates, by far as a county. And so it's nothing against any other district or any other school or any county. It's just a matter that I think people, unless somebody points it out, I don't think people understand that our school districts work hard across the county to try to keep their tax rates low. So I want to commend all the school districts for that. I guess I would open it up to any questions or comments, but I just want to try to share that every year, the TIF and the enterprise, and also the tax rates. Everybody loves taxes. So it's important that I do that.
Questions related to the fiscal year 21 budget?
We just need to
Yeah.
approve the budget as we talked about in the budget hearing prior to the meeting. So, were there any other questions from the board about anything in the budget?
Just need a motion then to approve the fiscal year 21 budget.
Second.
Robin Fosterman.
Yes.
Brad Waldoff.
Yes.
Jill Windling.
Yes.
Jane Wilbur. Yes. Kathleen Smith, yes. Steve Bone.
Yes.
Andy Byers.
This time is the opportunity for sharing with board members. Do you have anything you want to share?
I have something. At our Eastern Illinois Special Ed meeting the last time, Michelle Skinlow from Mattoon nominated me as vice president. I was elected vice president.
Congratulations. Yes.
There's also a Wabash Valley meeting coming up October 6th. They're all, this one's virtual, I believe. So if you're interested in attending, let Penny know when you get signed up.
And I know you'll do great. So at this time, we would need a motion to enter into closed session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district. Collective negotiating matters between the district and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees, possible litigation, and student discipline.
I'll make that motion.
And Brad?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Brad Waldoff.
Yes.
Jill Windling.
Yes.
Jane Wilbur. Yes. Kathleen Smith, yes. Steve Bone.
Yes.
Andy Byers. Robin Fosterman.
Yes.
I will be going into closed session